Wow.
Wowee.
There was a bit to unpack of the weekend of racing yesterday.
Great day of racing.
The best mare in the country won again. Are we talking about Imperatriz or are we talking Fangirl?
We're talking Imperatriz, but Fangirl was very, very good.
Tell you what, mate, racing Twitter blew up. A lot of opinions, and I'm keen to discuss it with you, that this is the best mare in the country now, Fangirl.
Yeah, people get carried away.
Yeah.
People get carried away. I want to see a body of work.
Yeah.
I want to see a body of work like what Jonathan Thurston produced throughout his career.
Okay.
Not only did he single-handedly win, grand finals and origin games, he did it consistently.
Okay. So
he had a body of work. He wasn't, he didn't have one good game.
Let me have a look here.
Like a bloody Anthony Milford.
So this is Fangirl's stats, right? So I don't know if that was, I'm just going off what I see in front of me on RaceNet right now. So this could potentially be 25 starts for 9 wins, or I'm looking at 24 starts, 8 wins. So that's a 33% strike rate. 4 seconds and a third. She's had 13 starts, so more than 50% of her starts at Group 1 level for 3 wins, 3 seconds. 2 Group 2 wins out of 4 starts, and then 1 Group 3 from 1, and then 1 listed from 1.
That's a phenomenal record. But Imperatriz is better. Like there's no debate here at all. Look at her. Get her stats up right now.
Imperatriz?
Get her stats up right now.
Yeah, okay. But if you took Fangirl to New Zealand, she'd bang up on all those as well.
She would, but Imperatriz, look at her stats even since she's come to Australia.
Yes, I agree. Against what is probably harder opposition at the sprinting ranks, if you're going to be like for like, right? But she hasn't necessarily been against our A graders at that level every single time, where Fangirl pretty much has. Mr. Brightside and Alligator.
She just beat Private Eye. And Private Eye, where did Private Eye on the Everest?
Yeah. That's the first time she's done it though.
Yeah. But I just don't understand what the debate is. Like she's the best sprinter in the country, probably in the world. So that Fangirl, what would Fangirl go do over in the UK in middle distance races?
Well, if it's a good track, who knows?
I just don't she's very, very good. And I'm not saying she's one of mine, but I'm not saying she's not one of mine. I think she's really, really good. And I'll probably back her every start this autumn because she's very good. As it stands right now, Imperatriz is a better horse. By the end of the autumn, could we be having a different conversation? 100%.
Yep.
100% we could be. But that was one very good win. How many very good wins has Imperatriz had in a row now?
Yeah, very good. So
that's my opinion. But opinions are like assholes, Daniel. Everyone's got one, and some of them are stinky.
Yeah,
some of them have been cleaned out in Tenerife recently, apparently. I couldn't believe that conversation.
So, Imperatriz's last failure was in the lead-up run. This was October 2022. So that was on a soft 5 track over at Matamata in the Arrowfield Stud played a Group 1 race where La Krieg brained him. Career highlight for La Krieg. Came over for the Empire Rose, started $1.80 on a soft track, which probably didn't suit her ice bath wins.
What distance was that race?
That was a mile. So that probably, and I think she might even be a Group 1 winner up to the mile, Imperatriz.
I think against her own age as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, okay.
And then they figured out she's a sprinter, but was just good enough to put him away over a mile.
So then she's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 starts since then for 9 wins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those at Group 1 level, which she's won. And then she's had the one placing was in a Group 1 where Artorias
just sprouted wings.
And, he beat Animo in a Blue Diamond. And I think Artorias is one of the great underrated horses of our time because the camp didn't know how to train him.
No.
If they trained him as a sprinter the entire time, my God, he could have been anything.
Yep.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I would.
Yeah. So
the
body of work, that stands up.
Recency bias in this game, I'll tell you what. Like, we're all suckers for it. I am too. But I just think visually that was an incredible win by Fangirl. Has she reached the peak of her powers? Probably. Could she build a picket fence over the autumn? Definitely. So open to having this conversation again in a few months' time. But as it stands right now, like, Imperatriz, mate, she's the best horse in the country. She just won again, another Group 1, over 1,000 metres, leading down the straight. And she's been an absolute see you next Tuesday in the yard.
Yeah.
And she still put them away.
Yeah. And I think your point about recency bias is very well found. The reason why you were getting $1.80 is because of that poor trial. But also, I think it was the support for the 3-year-old colt, I Am Unstoppable, as well, because apparently his trials were unbelievable. The camp was so confident. So, like, sorry, guys. He ran second in a Coolmore against what is now pretty obvious, a pretty average crop of 3-year-olds.
Who ran the top 4 in that race? Imperatriz, Espiona, Private Eye, Bella Nipotina.
The cream rose to the top.
The proven sprinters, the proven weight for age warriors. Espiona, probably not really proven, but starting to.
Oh, mate, we'll discuss her. And so here's some questions or some statements that the listeners have come in and said. And I like your reaction to this.
Yeah.
Fangirl, best horse in Australasia. That's from one Jacob Jennison.
Geno.
Friend
of the podcast. Valid opinion. I disagree with it.
There's popular opinion and then there's facts. The simple fact is it's her or Legato for a Cox Plate, and I look forward to debating it with you boys. Now, that is not a delusional take. I'd say it's a stretch.
I'd say it's ambitious.
Because Legato's she's not going to the Queen Elizabeth. She's going to the 2nd or 3rd grade bloody Australia Cup.
Look, Legato's a good horse. And she's done it against the 3-year-old boys here, which takes a good man to do that, a good filly. But it was against her own age.
Yeah, she's yet to do it at weight for age.
If she brains him in an Australia Cup, we'll be having a conversation. Look, I appreciate everyone's take, but what do I say about opinions, Geno? I disagree with it. I disagree with it at this stage.
Okay. All right. What about Dame Phillips? Follow Fangirl everywhere. She doesn't lose this year. I could see that happening. But her pattern, she'll lose.
She'll lose because of her pattern.
Pattern and a wet track.
Yeah.
She's not bulletproof.
So, again, that's another string to the bow of my argument.
So, Brad Hickey, who's the best middle distance horse in Australia?
What are we defining middle distance as? 16 to 2000? Well, if Fangirl beats up on Mr. Brightside again, Fangirl.
I think that there's the changing of the guard this prep.
But exactly. But Mr. Brightside nearly won a Cox Plate.
Yeah.
And you can say Fangirl was unlucky in that Cox Plate. She still ran 7th and she was running on.
Yep.
That's what you can get from her.
Yeah. Whereas
Mr. Brightside, like, he doesn't run on a bit.
No, and when he does, he usually wins.
Yeah.
And then John O'Maloney makes this is a good question. Was Fangirl that good? Or do we question how bad some of the others were?
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to question some of the others. So let's quickly go through that Apollo Stakes field, right?
Yep.
So you've got Think It Over.
So in finishing order, right? So Fangirl won by 2.5 to 3 lengths. Militarized ran second, who I thought he was quite good with Karen on. Think It Over, who needed the run with Nash on board. Navajo Peak, who was wide throughout. Buckaroo, who
nicely.
I thought that was a nice run from him. Linda Mann, gelding did not work at that grade though. You put him back to a Group 3 listed race and he'll be very hard to beat. Arapaho needs further. Attractable, what was he doing there? And then Cascadian just wasn't right. And he's been out for how long? And Cascadian needs plenty of racing in his legs.
Yeah. So I think there's definitely an element of take with a pinch of salt. And I can 100% see Chris Waller with Militarize being absolutely stoked with that run.
Oh, mate, if you put him, Militarize against his own age, who's beating him?
Over 1,600 metres.
Who's beating him? 2,000 metres, like Kitty Cat Tom, potentially? I think Kitty Cat Tom needs more racing and he has brilliance about him.
Yeah.
I think he has like a more sustained, longer turn of foot than what Militarize does.
Militarize is a grinder.
And we probably actually, we've seen it at the mile. We've seen it at the 1,400 metres. We probably haven't seen it at the 2,000 metres from Militarize yet.
Yes, and I think he ran well yesterday with the softer deck. I think if we get to the Rosehill Guineas and it's a soft 7, Militarize is the pony for me. Do you know who I was mightily impressed with yesterday who could give them both a bloody whack over 2,000 metres? Riff Rocket.
Mate, he's different gravy.
Apparently he's still a baby as well.
First horse in 30 years to win the Derby, then the CSA's first up.
It's like a Totsu-like.
And, mate, the camp came out yesterday, Charlie Duckworth, who we need to have on this podcast.
We do need to have on this podcast, yeah.
Because, we have connections, drifters. He said this horse didn't stay the Derby distance. So I think he's got a lot of ticker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the other side, though, I want to argue both points here. So at Randwick, there was 6 races at lower distances, and then there was also one other 1,400 meter race, right? So you'd expect them to kind of like run quicker than the 1,800 meter. Oh, sorry, no, there was only 2 races of longer distances at Randwick yesterday. So that was a 1,600 meter benchmark 88 with Redstone Wall. And then there was a highway 1,800 meter race, right? So that'd be the lowest rating race on the day. My Fangirl, she only got outraced in the last 200 meters by the 1,000 meter midway, I think it was, in terms of the last 200 meter sectional. So, and she was the 7th or 8th longest distance on that card.
Yeah,
she would have beaten Thunderlips by 12 to 13 lengths in that last race.
Shit.
Like I think there isn't another horse in the country over 1,600 metres, 2,000 metres debatable that can run the sectionals of her. She is daylight first for mine. But her pattern is going to get her into trouble. And she's not bulletproof because if it is a soft 7 or worse, it's alarm bells for me.
Yeah, 100%. But if she gets conditions to suit this autumn, she can build a picket fence 100%. We've always known about Fangirl that she has elite closing sectionals. In that prep she had against Animo last autumn, where she ran 2nd and 3rd to him every time.
Oh,
she was always the flashing light, but she always got beaten.
I think. Pardon me. I can only see 3 other horses that can run the sectionals of what Fangirl can.
Yeah.
And it's because their pattern does come into it as well. But they're all sprinters. Imperatriz at the Valley, I think she sits further back at the Valley for whatever reason. She kind of like sits on speed down Flemington. I don't think she handles the straight at all.
No.
She still gets the job done, which, she's bulletproof. I wish I win. He just sprouts wings.
A luck truck.
And then the other one is Giga Kick. Like, so he posted first up in the autumn last year, he posted a sub 10 sectional, which is the first time it's ever been done.
Yeah.
Happened once before at Randwick or Rosehill, wherever it was, and it was on a soft track.
Yeah. Daniel O'Sullivan, the stats guy, came out and said it's almost impossible for horses to run faster than that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I agree with you. That's a good take.
And we were discussing this at the pub yesterday as well about Fangirl. And we'll also kind of thinking about Animo's prep. And there's been Animo's last 3 preps, he failed at his last run of the prep each time. First one was on a bog 2,000 metre track as a 3-year-old in the Queen Elizabeth. Just
afterthought.
Yeah, afterthought. Heavy track didn't suit him. He ran last. Forgive that. Champion Stakes after winning the Cox Plate, 2000 into 2000. It's like, oh, okay. That was interesting. And
he was interested.
And you could tell before that run, he was agitated. He wasn't right. He wasn't like the strutting Animo as we typically see.
No, he was cultish as.
And then you saw him in his last ever run in the Queen Elizabeth last year, and he went 2000 to 2000 again, where he wasn't right on the day either.
When he arrived there, I was in the stables at Randwick, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Animo. And got a closer look, and you can tell with him with his socks. And I was like, that's him. And he was just, he knew he was the biggest deal there, but he was being a prick.
Yeah.
He's just been a prick.
That might be his attitude, but like I think the big takeaway from that as well is the 2,000 meters to 2,000 meters, and that's something Chris Waller does perfectly.
Yeah.
He sets him for one run at 2,000 meters. He did it for Winks every single time. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Especially in the autumn.
Well, because she'd go to the George Ryder, then to the Queen Elizabeth, which I actually think Animo might have done as well. Did he go George Ryder?
Yeah, I think he might have.
To the Queen Elizabeth. So I don't think he went 2,000 to 2,000, but I think he...
No one was beating Dubai on it that day.
No one was beating Dubai on it, but I think he, at the end of his prep, he's ready to go for a spell.
Well, we saw it twice.
Yeah.
Saw it in the Rosehill Guineas to the Queen Elizabeth, and then we saw it from the Cox Plate to the Champions Stakes.
Yeah. So Fangirl, she'll race at the 2,000 meter once this prep, and it's going to be the Queen Elizabeth. She'll go from the...
She'll have the Winks prep.
Yeah, she'll go to the Chipping Norton next, which is the VE, whatever it's called now, 1,600 metres, back to 15, George Ryder, which, you know, she could win all three of those in a canter, both of those in a canter, and then she'll go up to the Queen Elizabeth, which...
I think that's the run for me, and I'd have to look at the spacing where she'd be most vulnerable, because I made the point to you boys yesterday. I think she's best when she has gaps between her runs as well. So first up, she's been unbelievable. In the Winks last year, she was fantastic. Then she had 4 weeks into the King Charles second up, and she went 4 weeks into the Seven Stakes where they ran fast call speed up there, and she couldn't reel him in. She couldn't run any quicker. Then she had another 4 weeks into the King Charles third up, and that's where, you know, it's like almost like the grand final. But then she was only 2 weeks into the Cox Plate, and she was unlucky, but she still ran fantastic. And then the fifth run of the prep is probably just like you have to go there because $3 million on offer. But
yeah,
like prior to Jenny was probably more ready.
Yeah. Plus the J-Mac factor with her. He just gets along well with this horse, and he's the best jockey in the world, so he just knows when to push the button. So you're taking out a bit of the risk with backing Fangirl when J-Mac's on.
Yeah. All right. So Fangirl was very, very good, and I think she has a hoof on the best middle distance horse we have in the country, I reckon.
Oh yeah, definitely has a hoof on that specific. You know, and that's the thing. Like Imperatriz is a sprinter, so they're never going to clash. But we say it on our podcast all the time about sprinting in this country. It's, you know, the thing we're best at.
Yeah, agreed. Well, Imperatriz then, she was just bulletproof, wasn't she?
Yeah, I still haven't seen any footage of what she was like in the mounting yard. So I'd be fascinated to go back and watch that, but.
I think Private Eye began a lot better than what Blake Shim was expecting, and I think everyone was. He's typically best when he's ridden midfield.
Yeah.
And it has gone against him sometimes as well. I think he arguably wins 2 Everests if he draws better.
Well, you can loop him in with the Giga Kicks, the I Wish I Wins, the Imperatrizes, the Fangirls with having an elite closing sectionals. He's in that group too.
Yeah. Oh, he's probably. I think he's very good, but he needs to be ridden a bit quieter.
Yeah.
To do that, he can't do that from the front.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
because he's typically ridden quieter, and he comes home like a freight train.
Yep. So I thought Bella Nipotina was a bit unlucky here. She got held up a long way from home and just in a pocket. And tell you what, getting on with a horse, Craig Williams just rides her 10 out of 10 each time.
Yeah, and typically because she's not the $1.20 favourite.
We'll discuss that. So I thought Private Eye was pretty good, to be fair, coming back there. Like, she's only won by 0.2 of a length there.
Yeah, she didn't look comfortable at all.
Tell you what, the flashing light of the Flemington meeting has to be Espiona from that, right?
Yeah.
So we have a question or a statement about that as well. So this is from Jay Drapes. Is Espiona back in the black book? To be fair, Drapes, I don't think she ever left.
I don't think she ever left.
Mate, we were on her pretty much every start last prep.
And look, as a 5-year-old mare, she's furnished. She's figured it out. Her neck wasn't going 180 degrees yesterday. Chris Waller's finally sort of ironed out all the
Kinks,
the quirks. And to me, I think she might be a 12 to 1400 meter horse. And I think she won that Coolmore Classic with the super lightweight over 1500 meters because she had the super lightweight. She won over further as a youngster, but that was mostly against her own age. So I think she's a sprinting mare. She closed off super well in the Champions Sprint in the spring. Interesting to see what weight she gets on her back in a new market because she can win that.
Yeah, she's $6 now. She was $13 into sixes, but if she's heading there is a clear bet in that race that we discovered yesterday. If Sunshine in Paris is heading to the new market, she's $51 in that market. That is a bet to nothing.
Fascinated to know where she's at.
Yeah.
What's she doing? Has she been trialling?
Don't know. Might all be for naught, but I saw that and my ears pricked straight up. I'm like, hang on, didn't Sunshine in Paris beat Espiona?
Her first up run in the spring, so brilliant.
Got her an Everest slot.
Yeah, and she was before she got injured, she was a clear hope in that race.
Yeah.
So if she gets any weight relief down a Flemington straight at 51s.
First up, that's one of the great futures bets of all time. If she's heading there, but she might be injured. Who knows? So we'll do some research about that. And if she is on that path, then we'll tackle that. So Espiona, shortest race at Flemington, clear flashing light. She ran the quickest 8, 6, 4, and 200 meters of the meeting. So I kind of expected that. But she was dynamic.
She was great.
So I'd say I'd rank Imperatriz at the top of the tree, Riff Rocket second in terms of being most impressed, and then Espiona third for me.
Yep.
Would you agree with that?
I would.
So let's have a look at the big horse, Riff Rocket. I made a little bit of a case for this horse on the preview podcast. You thought it was a bit too short for him.
Yeah.
Mate, he was sensational.
He was great. Sat off and bang.
Yeah. Now, didn't help that he gave King Colorado one of the great nudges in the ribs at the top of the straight of all time. So that didn't help King Colorado's chances. We'll rewatch it here. So I think Willow was on him, right?
Willow was on
Riff Rocket.
Riff Rocket, yes.
So he comes out here, crosses heels of Otago and goes bang straight into King Colorado's ribs, gets him off his line. But I don't think that really has a little bit of an impact on the result, but nothing warranting overturning the result.
No. And geez, King Colorado can run on a bit. He was good, King Colorado, but Riff Rocket's better. And he's apparently a big baby. And Chris Waller, he's just when he's got a good one, he's got a couple of good ones. He just places them so well. He'll go to the Australian Guineas. Militarize will go to the Randwick Guineas. They might clash at the Rosehill Guineas. They might not. But Riff Rocket,
he could. I reckon they might even take him to an Australian Cup because at Flemington, mate.
that might be the plan.
That is chef's kiss sort of stuff. Just keep him at Flemington each run.
That might be the plan.
Oh, what is he in that market? Let me have a look.
He'll be coming in. There's people smarter than us who would have adjusted those prices, but he's a gelding as well, Riff Rocket. So he's just going to get better and better.
We have 2 or 3 years of him still racing over those middle distances, which we need.
I just hope he's not a beat up on his own age type and then not figure it out when he gets a bit older. But Charlie Duckworth was very, very happy with that horse.
So he bloody should be.
Very happy with that horse.
Let's have a look. Riff Rocket, $26 in the Australia Cup. That I can get around.
That's a bet.
That's a pre-noms market. So if he doesn't nominate for it, you get your money back. So that market as it stands now, Mr. Brightside 450, Solcombe 7s, Legato 10s, probably a bet. Imperatriz won't go there. Fangirl won't go there, most likely. Zaki at 12s. A Tissue at 13s. Gold Trip, potentially. Just Fine, Pride of Jenny. Tommy, Kitty Cat Tom.
He won't go there.
Nah. I think Riff Rocket's the one there. If they
26s, yeah?
If they keep him in Melbourne at Flemington, he just gets around that track so well.
Yep. He loves the straight because he just winds up.
Yeah.
And he's a big 3-year-old, so he just takes a bit of time to wind up. And I wonder why they gelded him. He must have just been a bit of a nutcase, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just got too big and too bulky as a colt. He's by American Pharaoh, so yeah, he'll eat up the 2,000 metres the rest of his life, I think.
Yeah, I believe so. All right, let's have a look at the rest of these. So we'll go to race 3 of Flemington, the Talon Dirt. Aardvark, Arthur, got the job done. Now,
Ardvark.
So, tell you what, he needed every single inch of the Flemington straight, Aardvark. Took a while to wind up.
He certainly did. I was on high octane here, and he needs about 900 metres, this horse. He just capitulates over the last 100 or 200. But he ran a good enough race. But, Aardvark was good.
High octane or counter-offensive?
Counter-offensive, sorry. My apologies.
Right.
So he just sort of lost the plot a little bit there in the last sort of 100 metres. But Aardvark was good. Does he go on quick back up to a blue diamond?
Oh, you'd have to.
You'd have to. But he doesn't win that.
Maybe he'd be a $20 to $30 shot. Like, the only thing that could potentially he could sprout wings is if it's at, quick backup, that type of factor. But I'd be shocked if he won. Like the sectionals that these guys were throwing up were nothing special.
I said that was the B and C graders. I just had a random thought, and apologies, drifters, but going back to Riff Rocket, when was the last time Chris Waller had a really, really good gelding? Colding? Yeah. Yep. So I'm trying to think of all the best horses he's had over the last. Oh, Nature Strip, obviously, but like a middle distance one. I mean,
yeah, Colding probably.
Colding.
Yeah. What was that Singapore horse that he had?
Singapore horse.
Yeah, that started with Godolphin and then it went over to Singapore. He came back. I backed it on Derby Day in the Cantala.
Oh,
Aramayo,
yuck. Yeah, like he's had like your Kovalikas and stuff like that, like good 3-year-olds, but like like a battle hardened gelding. He's great with the mares over middle distances.
Like Yulong Prince, was he? He might have been an entire.
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, but like a Zaki type or a Mr. Brightside type. Just a good battle-hardened gelding going around for 3 or 4 years. Who
Colding probably.
Colding, yeah.
It's fascinating. Good thought. When you have those, keep vocalising them, all right?
Yeah, look, up here for thinking, drifters.
Now, probably one of the most disappointing results on the day was in race 5, which was the Tresity Stakes. Now,
the most important thing happening down in Melbourne the weekend.
Tell you what, mares in form, you're best just to stick with them. Revolutionary Miss, they figured it out. Credit to the Snowdens, mate, because that apparently massive group of ownership with Triple Crown, but she won 3 or 4 times where her strike rate was abysmal.
I think she had one win up until the sort of end of last year. So,
and I think they, similar to Marzu to an extent, same connections. They used to ride that horse dead quiet, ride her up near the pace, and her strike rate improves. Look at that.
who would have thought?
And then I think she was also hampered by some wet tracks. I don't think she really loved that. But in saying that, I think she's won once or twice on the good tracks as well, but wet tracks rather. But Flemington suits this girl. She can wind up, and I believe it might have been Mark Zara on her as well. I think he's had a couple of wins on her. Let's have a look. No, Mickey D this time.
Mickey D.
And Rails Run. So, Wishlor Lass, bit disappointing.
Yeah, she was disappointing. She had a phenomenal spring. She was the mare in form in the spring, so maybe that's just, big spring, hard races just flattened her out a little bit. So I don't really have an explanation for her. I thought she was a good thing, obviously, but forgive for me. And if she fails again next start, whatever.
There is an excuse. She was lame.
There you go.
Lame with a minor laceration. So all the Wishlor Lass fans, there is a bit of an excuse there.
Geez, the victim's been picking some lame horses the last few weeks. He's in all sorts.
Yeah, you and me both, mate. Sorry, the source and you.
The source of the victim.
So, Gringsinger Bell for Frosty Lane at double figures. Who would have thought? I reckon his average price of winning, and he's got the best strike rate he's got the most winners in Melbourne, Frosty. He
doesn't ride a lot of $2 favourites.
No, he doesn't.
He knocked me off a couple of times yesterday, and I think I backed him a couple of times on the shorties, and he didn't get the JD. I find it so hard to find Frosty.
Yeah, so do I.
So hard.
But I'm determined to keep finding him this prep.
Yeah,
this year. Gringsinger Bell just rated him perfectly out in front. You're on Donegal here?
Yes. Yeah, she came last, so I don't know if there was an excuse there, but
Donegal would appreciate tracks with more give, apparently.
Okay.
So not really, she just didn't really quite let down.
Look, he was more of a spec bet anyway, because she was at like 8s or 9s, but she started at like 5s. So I didn't get that. But
I thought there was a lot of good judges who were riding the victims' coattails.
Oh, sure. Really?
Yeah. A lot of good judges.
So,
Molly Nickers was good from the back. Good resumption.
Yeah,
I think
bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, exactly. Pardon me. Now, if I have a look at the sectionals data here, I did some. Actually, let's just watch it in totality, because I think the start of Jimmysstar's race is something that we need to dissect. And friend of this podcast, Marcus Williams, thoughts on the ride of Jimmysstar?
Oh, it wasn't a good one.
Are you sure?
Yeah, just based on the one time I've seen it. Oh, look, I don't think the plan was to lead like that. And I think Savannah Cloud gave him a bit of a headache up front and probably just zapped too much energy from him. But at the same time, he was a ridiculous price.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing that you and I and Bradley were discussing yesterday was that's for a horse that this is his first try at Group 3 level, I think it was. That is toxic stuff.
So toxic from that gate as well. Gate 10, Flemington, 1,400 metres. No thanks. The way you won last start, I just thought if ridden a bit colder, sat midfield, he could just accelerate and brain him by a couple lengths. I stuck my neck out there, drifters. So bizarre ride to me. I think Willow, if he could have his time again, he definitely would. He'd ride him differently.
Willow said that.
Yeah.
Willow said that. But there was 5 1,400 metre races on the day of Flemington, and this was the slowest one to the 600 metres.
Was it?
So I think, and the other thing, which can never help, Jimmysstar shifted a plate during the run as well.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I think he's run out of his skin, actually. And Macram, look, he might have been 150 to 1, but he has rocketed home that horse. He has run some really, really slick time. I think his last 200 meters was like the 7th quickest of the meeting or something.
Yeah, route.
Like he's jumped out of the ground. So I think Lindsay Park were asking immediately after the race, this thing's going to All-Star Mile wild card, right?
Hey, I don't blame them.
No,
but and we weren't happy with Jimmysstar being handed the All-Star Mile.
you more so than me. I couldn't really care.
But for me, it's like
You're justified.
Exactly. Point in case, it's like if he wins this by 2 lengths, then you give it to him.
Yeah.
I just think Racing Victoria. Come back to that phrase again, recency bias.
Oh,
people are always looking for the hottest new thing on the block, which is so fine because it keeps interest in the game. You know, adds to our depth, all that sort of stuff, and you know, like I completely understand it, but Mr. Brightside had a similar path to Jimmysstar. He wasn't starting at $1.24 in these races, mate.
no.
You know why? Less popular camp at the time.
Yep.
Less popular silks.
Yes.
So it's all hype, right?
Yep.
And Jimmysstar could very well go on to be a Group 1 weight for age horse or a Group 1 handicap horse, which is phenomenal. Great. Fantastic. But there's absolutely no reason as to why he also couldn't be that, you know? And Kieran Maher, we were talking about it yesterday, he's pretty reserved. But at the same time, if he thinks he's got a good horse, he'll say it too.
So Estriella, the example, last week, I think he was quite bullish on her heading into that race. And then the one that I was blown away by was Tis Invincible in the spring last year. He was just so bullish about her. And he's like, yep, we knew we were going to win today, but she's going to be even better and she'll be winning over further, which she did until grand final day.
Yeah.
So, it's and I think Bradley was saying that that Mickey Blue Eyes on RSN during the week was asking Kieran, it's like, oh, so this is a Group 1 standard horse. And Kieran's like, well, I don't know if he's that good yet. And maybe that's him just putting the lid on things, you know. But I think deservedly so. We don't know what this horse is because he's been in benchmark 70, benchmark 80 grade races.
And that was his like 6th or 7th career start as a 4-year-old gelding. Like, hold your horses.
Yeah. Literally
and figuratively. Recency bias in this game can sometimes frustrate me, but I completely get it.
Yep. So how's this for Kieran Maher's comments about Craig Williams' ride, right?
Guessing he wasn't happy.
Craig just had an absolute brain fade. That was not the plan. It was never been discussed. A very, very poor ride. Just stupid.
Lol. What do I say? I don't think the plan was to lead. So
I think he's better with a Bunny's chase. But I think by looking at that, I think you can put him where you want. He's pretty adaptable.
Versatile.
Look, for a horse that's had Macram, that's first up. He's probably had a career peak there. And you know, he's been in like listed kind of Group 3 races. He's not a mug.
Shifted plate. Gate 10 did a bit of work to come across.
Like,
it's a forgive run, but it's just made so much worse by the fact that he jumped at $1.24, mate.
Oh, mate, $1.50, that was ridiculous.
$1.50 was ridiculous opening.
And then
there's no meat on the bone there.
No.
You're wanting $2 for that horse. $1.90 maybe.
Yeah. Like, Fangirl jumped 210.
Yeah.
Like that, and that's where my mind went to immediately. It's like, all right, firming track at Randwick for start. Like, she had what she did in Wink Stakes. Oh, good setup here. And I was still like a bit hesitant about backing her.
She won like $1.24 pop. Yeah. That's what you want from $1.24 pop.
Like that's like Winks went around at Flemington at those odds sometimes. You know?
And, you know, we were talking about the fact yesterday as well, to that point, is if Mr. Brightside was in that race, what price would he be?
Yeah.
$1.10 maybe?
Yeah.
Like, he wouldn't be any shorter than that.
I don't think so.
So you're only getting 10% more for a horse like Jimmysstar. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Like, if you're, honestly, like, if you're diving into that you're a sicko.
Yeah. Like,
You're a sicko.
big time sicko.
Big time.
Yeah.
Toxic behaviour.
Like, I don't mind taking red odds sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, Imperatriz was a good example last year. Like, at the Valley, it's like, and she was at 1,200 metres against, like, sort of, as for Uncommon James, who was frankly a bit yuck. And it's like, okay, like, there's nothing beating her.
There's nothing beating her. Like, you're basically banking on the fact that she's not going to have an injury.
And then she wins by 3 lengths. And it's like, that is actually overs.
yeah, exactly.
Because, like, at the sprint distances, you don't see him win by that far.
No.
And it's like, that's where my mind goes to. Because I do the form before the odds come out.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. I'm like, Jimmysstar will probably be around $2. And I see $1.50 looking at it the first time with us sitting down. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
So, all right. That's about all that we had at Flemington. But let's go back to the other 2-year-old feature, the Pierrot Plate in Sydney. What were your thoughts on Switzerland and Shangri Express?
Clearly the best 2 horses in the race. I thought Switzerland was pretty good. And he sat outside the lead. I don't think he was overly comfortable there. So I think it was a good win. Look, if I had the choice between the 2 Cornwall horses going towards the Golden Slipper, I know which one I'd rather be on. Stormboy would have beat this lot by 3 lengths.
Yeah.
I think he's just so much better than the rest of them. But I think Switzerland will start single figures in the slipper.
Yep.
But I think Stormboy's a lot better. I thought Shangri-La Express was good too.
Yeah. First career loss. I think the really early season 2-year-olds, I'm happy to let them kind of go around.
It used to be the early season 2-year-olds were the ones that you wanted with more race experience.
Yeah, exactly. But like, we've seen it with Shinzo's last year. He bucked the trend. He only started in 2024, I think, 2023 rather, which Switzerland's following the same thing. They go to the trials and that sort of thing, obviously, but and with Waterhouse Pot, if you had something up and going, like Shangri-La Express is nearly 1 million prize money, I think. Like, why wouldn't you?
Oh, 100%. But those early season fields are thinner because it's literally just the horses who can get to the track. So that can be the horses who can get to the track but aren't very fast, and it can be the horses that can get to the track and are pretty fast. So whereas you're getting close to the Golden Slipper, that's where you're having a much bigger pool of candidates trying to put their name up in lights. So Switzerland was good. He'll be, single figures in the slipper. I'd be shocked if anything beats Stormboy in that race.
So Switzerland, Shangri-La Express prior to that, I think, was $664K in prize money. And that's, again, where the recency bias comes in, right? So I think, too, though, the first, Golden Slipper markets, right? Remember Scampy?
Yeah.
The best ever trialer that you've ever seen for a 2-year-old. That thing can't even get it together.
Yeah.
And he was the very early favourite there. But at the same time, Espionage was a good trial there. Bodyguard was a fantastic trial on that day. So that you can, I kind of the really flashy ones. I'm like, you can kind of have them. I want to see the race day performers. So, yeah, I thought Fly was good. 2-year-old filly for Team Hawks. First career start. She's just different. She's not up to that grade. So what else did we have here? We had a few other races to preview. So we had, have to talk about the King.
King of Sparta, he was good.
I've dropped off the last 2 times. He's won. King of Sparta was fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, he's most likely heading towards a quokka. And then I think someone in our DMs actually said, let me get that young man up because he made an outrageous statement. Let's have a look here. Here we go. Sam DeCourcy. This is King of Sparta's year, boys. Beer emoji. Clip this up when he gains that Everest slot after the quokka. I think Sammy Boy's gone a bit early there.
I think he's gone a bit early, but one can dream. He'll be hard to beat in the quokka.
Yeah.
He's just...
Millie's Jewel, overpass most likely.
Yeah. Look, he just... he's starting to put it all together. J-Mac's a key to him as well. This is why J-Mac's the best, because his strike rate on horses like this, who typically have a low strike rate, is...
Very good.
Very good. Yeah.
They figured this horse out.
And also, Buenos Not Chess going around at what, $1.70?
That too short. Like, I did see, forget his name, but he's actually quite an astute judge. But he made the point, there's basically, there was 3 shorties first up that were under $2 now over the last 2 weeks. Asfura was one, Buenos Noches, and there was another one as well that all went down first up. And you go like, just wait to see what they do.
Yeah.
Now there's waiting, and then there's Imperatriz, right?
Yeah.
Who's different gravy. But Buenos Noches, like, I think this is a lot further back than a lot of people thought he would be. And there was a bloody essay in the Stewards Report, and Nash basically had the instructions to put him where he's comfortable, but he's actually come out of the race flame as well.
Oh, there you go.
So, considering that, I think he's run on pretty decent.
Yeah, he's running pretty well.
Yeah. But he's just like, talking to horses that can run on a bit, he's one of them.
Oh, 100% he is. 100% he is. That's why like he would barely ever have any of mine on him. Yeah. I didn't touch him yesterday. I don't think I've ever bet on him.
Like, I reckon he's better down the straight at Flemington.
Yeah, that's why I said why take him to the Lightning.
Yeah.
Take him to the Lightning and then a Newmarket handicap, you think.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I'm not a trainer.
Now, the source's best bet of the day in Sydney was Samana.
Yee-hoo.
Now, this was a good win. It's a really solid win.
Nice win.
3 wide, no cover for a lot of the trip. Now,
handy little field.
There was a protest on this race as well. Now, about the 1,000 metres where apparently she shifted in on Alentia, right about there. And that's where the protest has come in.
Come on, man.
Tommy Berry, he did not have a good day yesterday.
No, he didn't. And he's been in good form.
Yeah. So, frivolous at best, Tommy. But, may as well have a chuck at the stumps. But Samana, I think I've got my cash from her, though. Like, she's pretty deep into her preparation now.
This is a Kieran Maher classic, though.
Yeah.
When the mare's in form, he just keeps putting them up until they lose, then he tips them out.
Yep.
But fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough, bro.
And maybe with Alentia, give her a bit of a fangirl prep. 4 weeks between runs, so she's got freshness in the legs. I could potentially go back into her after that run yesterday.
Coolmore Classic?
Yeah. That has to be the target, right?
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah. Like, she was very good. And Cess Magic was good, but again, she can run on a bit.
She can run on a bit. She's only won once.
So, Samana,
well
at
found by
$4.40 she started, drifted. Alentia, $2.60.
That's short. I thought she'd run well, but
yeah.
I think Samana was always the bet in that race.
Yep. Now, the light fingers. Now, so keeping in mind, the Fangirl was a furlong further and she still out-sprinted all these fillies home. But there was one filly that was almost identical. She was 0.01 slower home than Fangirl, and that's Learning to Fly, mate. I think I'm convinced with her now. She's very good.
I was keen on her. I was very keen on her. She just missed. She's always shown that, though. It's just that your concern was the massive layoff between drinks.
So it should be.
And so it should be.
But she had, what, three bits of work into this?
Yep. And she was a backable price for me. I think she jumped, what, $4.40-ish?
Yeah.
To me, that's a backable price for something that's first up. If she was like sub 3, I would have no way in hell.
Yeah.
But man, she could now clean sweep the Phillies series, I think.
Yep. Well, I made this comment to you yesterday. The winner is bloody underrated by the market and I think by punters as well. Comanche.
Yeah, she'll never be one of mine. I just she was good, but she's just placed too many times. And I just, for me, Gary Portelli, he frustrates me a bit with his horses. I don't think he quite knows where to place them. But the difference for this prep is the autumn 3-year-old filly path is so obvious that you can't fuck it up.
Yep.
But
Bang.
Well, but it is though.
Yeah.
Which is good for him because I think he can be a bit guilty of putting his horses in the wrong races. But learning to fly for me, she's the one I'm going to keep backing for the rest of the prep. I've got a big opinion of that filly.
Yep. So I thought Chad gave this a 10 out of 10 steer. And I love that the Nation camp are sticking with Chad when they're with Coolmore as well. They'd be in her ear going like, give this to J-Mac, please.
Yeah.
So I love that. And the Kai Mochi, JC, had a good day yesterday. Jason Collette.
He did.
He has the ability to lift them, but I think right on the line there, like I thought Kai Mochi lifted a bit. I think she does have a bit of ticker.
Yeah. Yep. But no, learning to fly for me. She's a good filly.
Yep. Chris Tilley was good too.
Yes.
Well mentioned by you.
Mentioned, not a cent on, but $4 or $5, whatever she was to place. Yeah. If that's the sort of punter you are, that's what I mean. Like at that price, that's a good bet.
I do want to see Tiz Invincible and Arctic Glamour here as well because I kind of forgot that they were in the race.
We also said on the podcast that we're putting a bit of a line through that group of 3-year-old fillies, like your Tropical Squalls, your Tiz Invincibles, your Arctic Glamours.
Like they've run on fine, but
you know who you're taking out of the race is the first two.
Yeah, absolutely. Mumbai Muse. Now I was very keen on that filly. Now she's run second last, beaten 16 lengths. So I'll renew what I actually wrote down here. Mumbai Muse didn't race up to standard according to Tommy Berry. No abnormalities found, but further tests required and vet clearance needed before racing again. So like he was looking down, and whenever you see that, they think they've gone to miss. So forgive for her, but she's not up to these. Like she came down to Flemington when all the good ones had gone away. So I think learning to fly is the first 3 past the post, especially if it's wet. Chris Tilley's, she enters everything, I think. And that is all the racing. But there is Christ, if you think this podcast is long, have a look at the Stewards Reports.
Oh, shit.
My God. So, out of Randwick. So, Golden Mile, coughing post-race, which can never help.
No, that's not good.
Needs a vet clearance before trialling and racing again. So, if Golden Mile backers, no good. Buenos Noches, as we said, 1 hour 5 lane in the off-hind, needs a vet clearance. Alentia had a protest as well. So, JC actually, who was riding Samana, actually pleaded guilty. So, he'll be starting from Monday the 26th of Feb, going to Friday the 1st of March. So this is nothing. This is one midweek meeting. Diamond Dealer was 3 hour 5 lane. And then at Flemington, Jimmysstar, as we mentioned, lost a 4 plate. Cannot help. Donegal, so appreciates trash with more gear. Wishlor last, right, lame in the right hind. Wigham, the chief, throat abnormality. Chester Warrior plus 4s, green belt, all lame, and full of sincerity, near side blood nostril from trauma though, but helix in the last bled both nostrils, so 3 months suspension for him.
Oh, gee whiz! It was one of those days of racing which was just a bit full on, wasn't it?
There was a lot going on, but I think the picture became a bit clearer.
Definitely became clearer. That was a you take it on the chin type of day, a tough day, but I think now the decision making process will be a lot easier for the rest of the autumn.
I think what we do. Should we actually? There's 2 things I want to discuss real quick. One is futures markets again.
Yeah.
For March, we'll do that on Wednesday.
Yeah.
because I think we had a bit of fun there. But the other one was top 5 horses in the country. So we had some responses about that.
Cool.
So one, Bradley Weston. Now I'm going to read out what
He has opinions, doesn't he?
My God. Amelia's Jewel, Stormboy, Imperatriz, I Wish I Win, Think About It. And he said, so he didn't even include Fangirl. And then he said, he's one of these hype boys. One of these
He's a big hype boy.
Fanboys. Fanboy for Fangirl. He's like, take Think About It out of it. Fangirl goes in.
Bradley's the classic case of he has his favourites. So Mr. Brightside's not in there because he'll never back that horse.
No.
Because it's just not one of his.
That's not his jam.
It's just not his jam.
Nick Scala, Imperatriz, Mr. Brightside, Fangirl, Think About It, Stormboy. So Stormboy is featured twice.
Yeah, okay.
Win Finlay just said Espiona.
Hey, look, if she wins the Newmarket handicap, and then maybe another Group 1 sprint race, like, yeah.
Yeah. Josh Bell, friend of ours, our old mate. Mr. Brightside, Imperatriz, Fangirl, I Wish I Win, Gold Trip. Gold Trip's probably the forgotten one.
Yeah.
He brained him in that Turnbull.
He really did.
Very impressive in Melbourne Cup. Conditions to suit. Like on a rock hard track, probably
can run on a bit. He can. He's only won, 3 times in his life? 4 times?
Yeah. Mitch Coop just said Imperatriz. And then Dane Phillips. Number 5, I Wish I Win. 4, Fangirl. 3, Imperatriz. 2, Brightside. 1, Without a Fight. Now, he's had his own rules.
Yeah. Look, if Without a Fight was racing this autumn, he'd be in my top 5.
Fuck
100%,
yes.
100% he would be.
Yes.
He'd win the Australian Cup.
Yeah.
And a Tancred.
Oh,
He'd brain him in a Tancred.
Yeah. Well, they'd nom, but he'd be dual accepted. Because if it was raining, if there was a drop of rain in Sydney, he'd be like, no,
I ain't going.
I ain't leaving.
Do you reckon he could come back up here for a Q22?
I hope so.
That'd be great.
Back to back.
There's no need to.
Back to back in a Caulfield Cup. Back to back in a Melbourne Cup.
He can win the Caulfield Cup as a top weight easily.
Well, all right. So Gold Trip last year, right? Top weight in Melbourne Cup. And he was backed on the day. It was what, $6 or $7. Without a Fight, to me, it's probably a better winning prospect than Gold Trip.
Yeah.
Go back to back in Melbourne Cup.
100%. 100%. The thing is, there's just so much water to go under the bridge for Melbourne Cups. I reckon that it's the most toxic market to bet into.
Oh,
easily.
That's one of your best takes.
It is, but it's just like the pitch. Like talk about recency bias. That's the worst. That's the worst market for it. Remember when White Marlin was favourite?
Oh, yuck!
You're kidding me.
All right. So Without a Fight, $12. Solcombe, $13. Apulia, 26 is on the third line.
Apulia, as of second in the Derby fame.
Yeah.
Oh, I've officially heard it all now.
On the same line, First Immortal, who tried to get into the race last year and couldn't even make it. He went down. He was the short favourite in the Geelong Cup.
Yeah,
and he couldn't even win that.
I know.
Just fine at $26. That's just burning a ticket.
Where's Shiraz in that market?
Shiraz. That's a good question. I'm scrolling. $34. That's better.
That's a much better bet.
That's a better bet than the top ones, especially because Shiraz, if it is a typical Sydney autumn wet track which suits him in a Sydney Cup, stays all day. More rain. Fuck. Just put out all the washing. Oh, I'll tell you about my morning. Fuck. Yeah. Well, he could brain him in that Sydney Cup.
Of course he could.
Yeah.
Because you know he's going to run it out. He nearly won a Melbourne Cup. Well, not nearly, but you know what I mean. He ran super.
Quan Sweet Jr. at $51. King Colorado at $51. What?
Oh, honestly.
I've officially seen it all.
Do you know what? You need to wade through a lot of shit in futures markets to find a good bet.
Sharp and Smart at $100.
That's not a bad.
I could have $5 on
He,
that.
do you know, he needs to change stables, sharp and smart. I don't think they know what to do with that horse.
Yeah. Well,
All due respect.
He's been running around in New Zealand Group 1s, to be fair, but don't know what the target is. Probably Sydney Cup, actually. Yeah. Actually,
I still can't believe he didn't win that derby. What's Man's always done since?
Nothing.
Just another Chris Waller pull your pants down, smack your bum moment.
So- To be fair, what is Sharp and Smart done since?
True.
A Sydney Cup market might have. We'll have a look at that. No, I don't think it's out yet. But anyway, my morning, right? Go get a coffee. Come back. We put a load of washing on before we go. Come back, and the house is flooded because the hose fell out of the washing machine. That's the second time that's happened to us in our 6-year relationship. Happened to us in an apartment once.
Oh no.
Yeah, but got our bomb back. Yes. But mate, that is one of the big ball aches of all time. Having to deal with that.
Yeah. What time was this?
7:15.
Oh.
So we would have started trotting off at about 7:15.
I was still asleep at 7:15. I had a great sleep last night.
Good for you, buddy.
Good, like 9.5 hours. Very unusual for me.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Good for you.
that's a ball ache.
Yeah.
So did you get like a squeegee out?
Don't have one. So that's why all the towels are on the line. So, yeah. Mate, I'm about to walk in to the house to see if it's happened again because just put another load on. So, anyway, we'll be back on Wednesday. We'll preview a cracking day, Blue Diamond Day.
Yep.
At Caulfield. So 3 Group 1s there.
Blue Diamond, Oakley Plate, and what's the other one?
Futurity, I'm imagining.
Oh, of course.
So, I assume.
A forgettable Group 1, but yeah.
And then, we will be previewing the March Group 1s and Futures markets, and we might put out a post of ones that we're a bit keen on.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Hooroo.
See you, Drifters.